How's it going, everybody? So today we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones by George R. R. Martin. Honestly surprised that all five books still fit in its original casing. But I read these book series about 10 years ago, and I thought that it was really, really good. This is my first adult fantasy book that I read. Up until that point, I was reading books like The Inheritance Cycle, the Percy Jackson series, the Drizzt series. And so I got into this because people introduced me to the show. And up until that point, it was about season three, season four time frame. So I watched the show and I was like, wow, this show is really, really good. And so I got the books and I was like, wow, these books are really, really good. The first book came out in 1996, and the last book, Dance with Dragons, came out in 2011. And so I was like, well, the sixth book must come out soon. And it didn't, as we see now. And I'm sure there's many people that are like me who are eagerly awaiting the sixth book, Winds of Winter. But in the meantime, I thought I would talk about how this affected me because I thought that the things that I read about in this book were so unique at the time to me. I mean, I was like 19 when I read these. And so it is just so interesting how George R. R. Martin thinks and how he writes, like introducing characters to just kill them off shortly after, how he builds characters in a way that makes you initially dislike them, and then over time you're like, wow, I actually really like this character. Characters that are bad at the start and are good now, good at the start and are bad now. And I thought he just does a really good job. He builds his world so beautifully. His characters are so well written, and they all have flaws. That's what I really like about it. There's no perfect character. There's characters where you're like, man, I really wouldn't do the things that he did, but I can understand why he did them. And this is also the first book series that got me into like researching on YouTube, like, hey, there's got to be theories about this. You know, we have to interpret George R. R. Martin's writings. And no other book has really done that for me besides the Cosmere universe by Brandon Sanderson. So this book had me like searching the depths of YouTube, trying to figure out what was going on in Dorne, the King of Dorne, trying to talk about the Mountain and the Viper, and researching all of this stuff, the High Towers. And I'll make a separate video talking about the different this theories associated with the books that I have read about and enjoyed over the years. But this series, I thought this really is what got me into adult fantasy and epic fantasy. And so I thought I would just talk about it here. Thanks.